Well, more weakness in the market today. Discretionary and tech sectors under pressure, sending the Nasdaq to a 2-week low. Here to share her market sell-off playbook is Morgan Stanley Wealth Management CIO Lisa Shalett. Lisa, thank you so much for being with us today. So we talk so much about the opportunity in AI. Today, AI is the trade that's sort of taking us all down. What do you make of today's action or the last several days' action? The beginning of something new? Is this profit taking? Are we finally going to see some others sort of jump in and steal some of the air out of the room that's been taken up by AI?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of things going on. I think the first thing that's going on is we have gotten some provocative jobs numbers, a little bit of weakness. And so folks are asking the question, hey, gosh, as good as generative AI may be, are we really going to lose jobs over this, right? And what does that mean for the consumer side of the economy? I think that there's a second piece here, and that is that there's a growing realization that as great and as powerful as this generative AI CapEx spending boom is, there's a cost to it. And these companies are starting to become more capital intensive. They're starting to use debt, right, to finance all this capital spending. And the question is, are we going to take a little bit of a pause in the margin expansion story for these Mag 7 names that have been so extraordinarily powerful in driving the overall headlines for the market?
Wow. I mean, so many things that you said there that I want to pull on. But what you're talking about AI obviously helping us, but then potentially taking away when it comes to some jobs or some tasks or skills. I mean, are we there yet, though, or is that several years down the road? Do you think that's really the worry the market's expressing today?
So I personally think it's going to take a while. But I think that when you see these jobs numbers, jump, it just provokes the question. It provokes the hand wringing. And in a market that has been pretty fully valued for a while, it becomes the excuse du jour to take some profits.
It also might be the excuse for companies when they're announcing layoffs. I mean, we don't know for sure exactly what's going on with these, and maybe they're pointing to AI because it's a convenient excuse.
Absolutely. We know the narrative game here. And whatever the narrative du jour is very easy to fall back on.
And so obviously we don't have government data right now as we sit in this shutdown. We did get the Challenger report today, and that was much, much higher than what we had seen a year ago, and the highest level also since the pandemic.
That's what I'm referring to. I think that got people's attention this morning, and people were like, whoa, is there something going on?
Right. And then your discussion about the K-shape economy, and there's been so much focus. We talked about this a bit in the last segment about the dispersion and the low end versus the high end. And the high end has really been carrying consumption for some time. But when there's job losses, it often hurts the low end more so. So what's going on now? Is that just becoming further exaggerated with these job losses, you think? How is that impacting consumption?
So I think it's going to be really interesting because I think we're going to have to stop and step back and see where these job losses really are. Because if, in fact, they're coming from generative AI, they may actually come from more knowledge workers. They may come a little bit more from the middle and upper income. And that may change a little bit of this equation. The second piece is, one of the things about the K-shaped economy is that the wealthier households have been made confident by these gains in the stock market. And so if the stock market stalls out here into year end a little bit, maybe a little bit of that confidence, a little bit of that enthusiasm that has powered that high-end consumer, maybe that too comes out. So we're in this very interesting, I think, phase where the cross currents are pretty profound.